Before the British burned it to the ground in 1897, Benin City held a wonder so vast, it made the Great Wall of China look small. The Guinness Book of Records once called it the world's largest man-made earthwork. Yet today, almost nobody talks about it. This is the story of the ancient Benin Empire and the walls that time and history tried to erase. 1. Origins of the Benin Empire. The story begins with the Edo people in what is now southern Nigeria. Around the 11th century, small chiefdoms united under kings known as the Ajisos. But true centralization came centuries later, when the Obis, the divine kings of Benin, rose to power. These kings envisioned more than survival. They envisioned greatness. 2. Building the walls. To secure their kingdom, they built walls, not of stone like China's, but of earth, dug deep by hand, molded and compacted. Over centuries, this became the most extensive system of earthworks in human history. Over 16,000 kilometers of moats, ramparts, and walls encircled towns and villages across the kingdom. 3. Life inside the walls. Inside these walls lay a thriving city. Benin City was famed for its wide streets, clean compounds, and sophisticated planning. European visitors in the 15th and 16th centuries described the city as grand as any in Europe, with bustling markets and exquisite royal palaces. And of course, the art. Bronze is so advanced that Europeans couldn't believe they were African-made. 4. Military power. But the walls were not just about beauty. They were a military masterpiece. They slowed invaders, channeled trade routes, and displayed authority. Behind them stood the Benin army, fearsome warriors who expanded the kingdom's reach deep into the Niger Delta. For centuries, no outside power dared to challenge Benin on its own soil. 5. Contact with Europe. When the Portuguese arrived in the late 1400s, they did not conquer. Instead, they negotiated. Benin traded ivory, pepper, and later slaves, but always on its own terms. The Obus were shrewd, ensuring the empire remained independent and respected. 6. Decline and British invasion. But by the 19th century, the world had changed. Palm oil had replaced ivory. Britain, hungry for dominance, turned hostile. In 1897, under the pretext of trade disputes, the British launched the infamous punitive expedition. They burned Benin City, toppled the palace, and looted thousands of bronzes. The walls, centuries of labor, art, and identity, were left in ruins. 7. Legacy of the walls. In 1974, the Guinness Book of Records recognized the Benin walls as the largest man-made earthworks on Earth, greater even than China's Great Wall in length. But where China's wall became a global icon, Benin's was nearly forgotten. Colonial destruction, silence in textbooks, and looted treasures scattered across Western museums left a gap in memory. 8. Closing reflections. The walls of Benin were not just defenses. They were the living veins of a civilization, protecting its people, shaping its city, and declaring its power. Their destruction wasn't just the fall of walls. It was the erasure of memory. But the legacy remains. And as Africa reclaims its history, the Benin walls stand again. Not in earth and clay, but in truth, pride, and remembrance. If you learned something new about the Benin Empire, share this video and spark the conversation. What do you think? Should the walls of Benin be remembered as one of the true wonders of the world? Don't forget to subscribe for more untold African histories, because this is just the beginning.